Up to 90% of our time is spent indoors, but most people don't realize the air inside can actually be worse than the air and smog outside. Carol Madeley is an asthma expert from the Ontario Lung Association.
Exposure to indoor pollutants such as dust, mold, tobacco smoke, and other strong odors are linked to making asthma worse. But there are steps you can take to reduce this exposure in your home.
Sandra Rinomato, renowned realtor and host of Property Virgins, has teamed up with air quality expert Brian Stocks from the Ontario Lung Association to take us on a room-by-room tour to show where inside pollutants come from and how to reduce them.
Now, Brian, I know when you're selling a house, it's very important to keep it clean and clutter-free, but how does this affect asthma sufferers?
Well, it's really important to know that the air quality in our homes does a lot to impact lung health. So the more we can reduce things like particles, chemicals, and dust, the better the air will be.
Excellent. Well, let's get started. So, Brian, what can homeowners do in the basement to keep it a healthier environment?
Well, people need to check the furnace filter every month and change it at least every 3 months, and sometimes sooner if it gets dirty faster. Basements are also a good place for moisture and mold, so keep the humidity level down below 50%. It'll also prevent dust mite from growing. And sealing all cracks in the floors and foundation walls also keeps moisture from coming in, as well as radon. Now in the living room, we'll look at things like flooring, the furniture, and fireplace. Carpeting is a sink for pollutants and dust, and a good alternative is an area rug like here, or hardwood flooring, because they're much easier to clean and minimize the dust. With furniture, it's important to know what you're bringing into the house, because often they off-gas chemicals. So test it out in the store and be sure that what you're bringing into the home isn't going to make your breathing worse.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I know that hardwood flooring is all the rage, and you've just given a great reason why. But you also mentioned fireplaces, so they must be problematic.
It's important to have the fireplace inspected on a regular basis to make sure there are no cracks in the flue, but also an airtight appliance such as this will stop the pollutants from coming into the living space.
Okay, and is there anything else we need to know about a living area like this?
It's a good idea when you can to open windows and let fresh air in, and in places where that's not easily done, a mechanical ventilation system will do the work for you.
Now, Brian, kitchens are high traffic areas, there's a lot of cooking going on, a lot of cleaning products. I would guess that this is a major contributor to the pollutants in the home.
It is, but it's also a very easy thing to clean up. For example, things like baking soda work really well on countertops and stoves and appliances. Vinegar with water will clean windows and glass quite nicely. Lemon juice mixed with cooking oil works very well on wood. If you find small amounts of mold under the sink, you need to clean them up and fix the leak, but using something like unscented dish soap and water works quite effectively.
Wow, I didn't know it worked. So is there anything else we need to know about the kitchen?
The cooking stove can be a source of pollution too, especially if it's a gas stove, because the pollutants from the flames can enter the living space. It's really important to know that when you're running any stove, have the ventilation fan on high at all times, not only to take out the cooking pollutants themselves, but also the excess moisture.
Now, Brian, typically in a bedroom you'll see a lot of fabrics like we do here. They're collecting dust, dust mites. They must be a major contributor to air pollution.
And certainly for people with asthma, this is the room you want to keep the cleanest. So eliminating as much dust as possible by washing the coverings in extremely hot water at least once a week, removing some of the extra pillows and even the dust ruffle around the bed, and encasing the mattress and pillows in an allergy-proof cover can really help reduce exposure. Now, the fewer clothes you hang on the closet, the better, because they themselves are dust collectors. When you bring them home from the dry cleaners, let them hang outside for a few hours or in the garage overnight until those chemicals fade away. And using laundry products, try to pick something unscented, because those chemicals can also trigger asthma attacks.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. You've given some wonderful tips on how to keep a home healthier and how to increase value as well.
My pleasure.
For more information about indoor air quality and asthma, visit yourhealthyhome.ca or call the Ontario Lung Association's toll-free helpline at 1-888-344-LUNG. That's 1-888-344-5864.